Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, August 21st, 2012. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Let's get right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. Futures are trading higher by about 2.5 points to 1417.25. Markets continue to hold up pretty well. If I zoom in here, you will see the futures have ticked down just a little bit here, but nonetheless still positive by 2.5 points this morning. There's a lot going on out there, a lot of news coming out of Europe and out of Asia. The European markets, for the most part, are holding up pretty well this morning. There was a Spanish bond auction, I believe, short-term paper. I believe it was 4.5 billion euros sold. It looks like yields went down a little bit, and that's really all that matters. So again, Spain able to sell some paper. Who's buying these bonds is anybody's guess. Most likely the ECB or the Federal Reserve, or maybe another central bank out there. But either way, bond yields are down, and that's really what the market's caring about and focusing on at this time. So we'll see how that all plays out going forward. But right now, if you'll take a look at the European markets, they're all basically higher. In fact, Italy is up about 1.75%. That's a big move there. Spain is actually flat this morning. But you have the CAC 40 up about 0.6%. The German DAX up 0.5%. And the FTSE 100, which is not part of the Eurozone, they can print their own money. The FTSE 100, which is England, is up 0.3% on the session. So, again, markets are still positive, at least ahead of the opening bell. We'll see how this plays out a little bit later. In Asia last night, markets were flat across the board. The Shanghai index was only up 0.5%. Again, that index still remains very weak at the moment. The one thing everybody should take note of is that India was up pretty decent last night. The Sensex was up over 1%. So Indian ADRs today could be strong if the U.S. markets are strong. If the U.S. markets are weak, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the Indian ADRs today. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's take a look at the dollar this morning. U.S. dollar index is trading down 36 cents. That's a pretty big move. If I zoom in on the dollar, you can see the fall that it has had since yesterday, or I should say since last evening. Really, it's a pretty good decline there. And nonetheless, dollar down, market up. That's kind of the way it goes. Starting to see the dollar dip a little bit more. The dollar falls, expect the markets to inflate. That's kind of how it works these days. But again, the dollar coming down towards that $82 level on the U.S. dollar index. Let's take a look at oil and gold. Generally, gold will trade higher when the dollar is weaker. That is the case this morning. Gold is up 7 points, or $7 to $16.30 an ounce. Let's take a look at the GLD. Yesterday, the GLD closed at 157.26. Today, it's trading at 157.97. Something that did have a good move yesterday was silver. Silver made a nice little move to the upside yesterday. I don't know if there's a lot left in the silver chart here, but nonetheless, silver is holding up again this morning above the $28 level on the SLV. But that's a nice little pop for silver on the back of the weaker dollar. And again, if the dollar goes lower, both gold and silver can trade higher. Let's take a look at oil this morning. Light sweet crude is trading higher by 82 cents once again. That's the weaker dollar. Oil is starting to near that $100 level. Light sweet crude this morning is trading at $96.80 a barrel. Let's take a look at the USO, which is a good proxy for oil. You'll see the USO trading up to 36.12. It closed at 35.83. So decent little pop there on oil. Again, it's all about the weaker dollar. If the dollar falls, oil goes higher, gold goes higher. Commodities, for the most part, go higher. And that's what we're seeing here at the moment. A couple of other things to go over real quick. Some earnings out there. This morning, it looks like Best Buy had news. Let's take a look at that stock. BBY is the ticker symbol. Just came out with earnings about 8 o'clock this morning. Stock is getting roasted and toasted. Closed yesterday at $18.16. Today, it's trading at $16.58. I had to go back on the charts for this one because it's just not very easy to see. If you go back to the November 2008 low, it's $16.42. That level is holding on by a shoestring right now. Ultimately, the stock looks terrible. There really doesn't seem to be a real reason to own the stock as far as I'm concerned. But there's a little bit of support at 1642. I do not like it. I think the stock can break and go lower. The next support level that I'm seeing for this stock, believe it or not, on the charts is going to be $11.33. And then ultimately it's going to be all the way down to the 2000 low, which was $9.34. I think this stock can get down there. It's a broken stock. The stock is in trouble. Be very, very careful with this. I don't think there's a play here unless you're already short and you're riding it down. To short it now, you just can't do it because it's down so much. I just don't think there's a play here. Again, the levels I have, and I'm not even buying this at all, it's $16.42. There could be some support there. $11.33, there'll be some support there. And then all the way down to $9.34. There'll be some support there. But this is not a pretty chart, not a pretty pattern. In fact, it looks like it just wants to go lower. The stock is in trouble. Let's take a look at Urban Outfitters. This is one that's having a good day. Ticker symbol URBN. Closed yesterday at 31.28. The stock is moving up decently today to 36.22. When I ran my calculations this morning, I think you have a pretty good resistance level around 33.48. You've actually traded above here though in the pre-market, so it could go higher. And then the next real big level would be $40, and then $40.88. So decent pop for Urban Outfitters. I think it's already overbought, but you got to be careful in this environment, especially on this stock right here, because some days this stock doesn't even trade 1 million shares. Some days it does, so it can overshoot. But already it's overbought. I would not be a buyer up here. Aggressive traders could try to fade it. Probably, I'm going to say, around the $40 level. Gets to around $40.88. It could be a good fade candidate. But right now it's holding up pretty well for this morning. Stock looks fairly strong, and it's above all resistance levels, so you got to give it the benefit of the doubt in the short run. But it is overbought, overextended, even though it's coming off of a choppy 1-month base. Again, it is a little bit extended up here at these levels. There are a few other stocks that I'm seeing out there in the news that are moving higher. One is Apple. Apple's had a nice little move. Again, Apple may make one more surge higher. So you may want to just let this one go for a little bit. But overall, it is signaling that it can be weak very, very soon. I would not be a buyer of Apple up here. It's gone up on really minuscule volume, and a lot of times the best moves come at the end of moves. I'd be very, very careful with buying Apple up here at these levels. It does look like all the gold mining stocks, where at least a fair amount of them are doing okay. I see Newmont Mining is trading higher. Again, these stocks will usually do well when the dollar is weak. Also, you could watch the energy stocks if the dollar is weak. A lot of different plays. If the dollar catches a bid, though, it can erase all of these gains quickly. If the dollar moves up, it can take this market down. Trading volume has been very, very light, so we'll have to take that into consideration. Yesterday was one of the lightest trading days of the year, and it looks like these summer doldrums are upon us, so you don't want to be too aggressive in this light volume, as markets will have a tendency to float higher in the light volume, but we'll see how it plays out. All right, everybody, that's my wrap for today. I will see everybody on the charts. Have a great morning, great afternoon, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Take care now.